Yes, I was just thinking about the time when up and down and myself were at the Raffles Hotel in Singapore, and I took this beer mat. I took this mat as a souvenir of our time in the wonderful, wonderful Raffles Hotel in Singapore. I'm sitting here. I always light my candles. Well, I always light a candle on Christmas Eve for blessings for everyone I know and care about. I did wind that clock up today, you know, but it stopped. Yeah, it's up and down myself. Well, I'll tell you what it was. It's such a long time ago. But she'd taken time between, when she first left the convent, she had much business to contend herself with. It was some family concerns, and she had that property in St. Moritz, and she had, I think I'm correct in thinking she still had the access to the properties down in Saint-Tropez and some other parts of the French Riviera. And although I didn't join her at that time, I think I was working in between London and New York at the time, but it was I got asked to go over to Singapore, and I wasn't very keen in Singapore, to be honest, and I wasn't very keen on going. I think it was a dreadful place, Singapore, in all honesty. Just a place of stuffy high-rise flats and beautifully clean, of course, but it was the climate didn't suit me at all. It was far too humid, and every day it rained just about, normally around 6 p.m. or thereabouts at least. Yes, it was a dreadful place. And but anyway, the London office says if we take ourselves to Singapore and you sort out this business. Many people thought at the time I was out checking on, the Barings Bank business with Nick Lethal and stuff. That's just a fable. I wasn't out there checking on Nick Lethal. It had nothing to do with Barings Bank. But what I did say to my lovely dear friend up and down, I called us, I says, up and down, where exactly are you just now? And she says, well, I'm down in Dorset. I'm down with a friend in Dorset. Why? What is your business? And I said, well, I'm in London and I'm wondering if you want to join me. I've got a little while in Singapore. I don't expect you to be there for the month, but could you maybe want to come over? You won't have to pay for anything. It's all expenses paid. So she said, well, yes, that's a fine idea. I think I will join you. How would I get back? I said, well, I'll sort it out. Don't you worry about that up and down. What shall we say, 5 days or a week or something? So she agreed to that, and so anyway, we met at, I think we met at London's King's Cross. Was it London's King's Cross? Or was it Waterloo Station? I think we met, and we had a little dander around the Strand, and I took her off to a luncheon. And yes, that's correct. I remember that luncheon. Wonderful. And anyway, we gathered our things and we headed out to Heathrow in a taxi and stuff, and it was a Qantas flight. I can remember this very well. And we flew non-stop to Singapore. It was a dreadfully long flight. It was up and down. I was resting her chin on my shoulder for about 4 or 5 hours in the flight. She was sound asleep, the poor girl. She was absolutely exhausted. She did say that she'd been helping her friend in with horses and stuff in the countryside and stables and all that sort of business. But when we got to Singapore, we checked into a rather marvellous hotel. I says, I'm here for a month, but you can stay with me for a few days. And she said, well, I don't want to be staying in the same room with you. I says, oh, up and down, we're going to never, ever, She says, I told you before, I absolutely adore you and I love you to bits. She said, but you're not sleeping in my bed with me. I said, well, that's not my intention, up and down. I just want to be close to you and I want to hold you. She says, yes, I know, but you make me puke. Anyway, I says, come on, we'll take you down to Raffles Hotel. We're off one evening. I said, we're down to Raffles. A splendid place. I can't really show you in the dark. That's why I showed you at the very start of this footage. I says, let me put my feet up while I tell you about this little story of me up and down Singapore. So I posed to the hotel. I says, it's a rather grand whitewashed paint building. It's very smart. It's beautiful inside, actually. Absolutely gorgeous. And I have stayed in the likes of the Mandarin Oriental, and that's the one in Hong Kong. And just the steps up to the Mandarin Oriental is, as big as some parklands. It's an absolutely amazing building and very, very plush indoors. But anyway, I was sitting there with up and down. I was sitting nibbling on olives and some pistachio nuts, if I can recall. Yes, they were. And so we were going in for dinner. I says, up and down, would you like a drink that was first invented in this hotel? And she says, whatever are you talking about? And I says, well, would you like a Singapore Sling? So she said, well, yes. Are you having one? I said, yes, I am. It's not very often I would drink gin, and especially not in a cocktail, but I thought, well, why not? And we were spending some time with up and down. So I think the Singapore gin is something, the Singapore Sling, I should say, is something to do with gin, and I think it's cherry brandy they use, and is it pineapple juice and orange juice? And yes, I think it's pineapple juice and orange juice they use, but I can't be absolutely sure. I'm sure it is. Yes. Anyway, we got these drinks and we were sitting there, and that's right, she had passion fruit. She had some passion fruit in her drink. I think they added that passion fruit because she's a lady. And she's sitting there with straw and she was drinking away and stuff, and it was like sipping away, and we were having some fine chat we were. And I said, up and down, over the many years that we've known each other, don't you think it'd be better if we just, kept a little more in touch instead of all this nonsense of me having to always track you down? And she said, well, I don't like to be speaking to you every day. I don't like speaking to you every single week. I don't like speaking to you at all. I says up and down, I says, I'm being serious. I says, why on earth, like two people like ourselves who got on tremendously and have a great time together, and always thinking of each other, why don't we spend a little more time together? And it could be in the countryside or it could be in the city, whatever you want. And up and down said, well, I will consider it, but as for now, could you shut up? And so we went back to our drinks, and we went through and we had a smashing dinner. It was an absolutely splendid dinner, as I recall. And yes, it certainly was, but it was very expensive. Luckily, it went on company account, so it wasn't too bad. And but I didn't let Up and Down know about this, you see. Well, anyway, the days fiddled away very quickly. I was rather sad because I had to take Up and Down to the airport, and it was a very sad moment because I thought to myself, I'm saying goodbye to her today, and I don't know when I'm going to see her again. And it happens all too often. I says, I'm really upset. I'm never getting to see Up and Down, and she's always not in my company and not in my presence. Sit Up and Down. She said, will you stop it and behave yourself? I says, well, Up and Down. I says, I absolutely... She said, look, I love you too. And when she said that to me, I says, I beg your pardon. And she says, I do love you. I've always loved you, you fool. And I says to Up and Down, I says, well, why don't you say that more often? Why don't you show it more often? She says, I don't have to. We just both know it. Isn't that enough?